Hello everybody, this is Coach Razo here. In this video, what we're going to talk about is the transversal lines and the parallel lines, and this is just simply the review over this whole entire unit. If you saw the previous two videos, then that's great. It should have helped you out, hopefully, and then if you need a little bit more practice, then I made this one along the way. So it's going to be a total review over a little bit of everything, okay? Now, one thing that you have to understand before in completing all these is that you have to understand what these represent. And initially, what type of angle pairs that you're going to go ahead and see. So the type of angles you're going to involve, they're corresponding angles where they'll be literally the same, congruent in the same side interior angles where they'll be adding up to 180, alternate interior angles where they'll be flipped on other sides of railroad tracks and they'll be congruent. Alternate exterior, well, they'll be on alternate sides of the road and they'll be on the exterior side. Vertical, where they pretty much look like the letter X and they're literally mirrored images of each other. And linear pair would just make a straight line, okay? So make sure you know what's considered exterior and interior too, because that will help you out to identify what type of angle, especially when you have this sort of situation in comparison to this nice, perfect situation, okay? So we'll go through these and we'll do a few examples here and there. Okay, so number one, in this one, so name the transversal 5 and 2. So I have angle 5 and I have angle 2. So I'm just going to focus on what is connecting them. So it's going to be these right here. So I know I have this angle and I have that angle. So I'm not going to focus on I'm not going to focus on these right here. I'm just focusing on what I was given. So I know I have 5 and 2. So that means that these two will be considered alternates. Oh, the transversal that connects them is actually is letter L. It's this one right here. 5 and 2, they're going to be alternate interior, exterior. So that one's in the interior, and that one has to be on the interior. This is not a perfect case. So this will be alternate interior angles, okay? So in this case, they will not be congruent, okay? Because there's no parallel lines involved. Now, let's go back. Let's go 2 and 4. So I'm going to look at 2 and 4. I've got 4 right here. Got 2 right here. I'm not focusing on anything else because that's going to make everything else more confusing. So I'm looking at that situation right there. And what is the straight line it cuts through them, okay? So they're both on the same side of the railroad tracks. So that means the transversal, which means they'll be the same side. And the only one that we have that matches up with it. And then also the transversal is L because that's the one that connects them both. So the train tracks. So 2 and 4 would be considered same side interior. Okay. So these are whenever you have lines that are not parallel in this case. So as you're going with it, just be careful in what you're seeing. Okay. Now let's go in this situation. Name the transversals of angle 4 and 12. So I'm going to go with 4, and I'm going to go find 12. I'm focused on those two, and I'm looking for the linear pair. I'm not linear pair. I'm looking for the pairs of angles. Let me just go ahead and get rid of this because I'm not focused on that anymore. I don't need to see this. Okay. So now I have 4 and 2. I'm going from this train station. I skip 10 and I go to 12. So that means this will be considered corresponding. So actually that was number 16 right there. So corresponding, you got lucky. Corresponding in that case. And so the train tracks that connects them is X. This one right here. Okay. Now, this being said, the transversal that connects 1 and 2. As we go with this one, we have to realize I have this angle and I have that angle, and they create a line here, and that's what connects them both. So in this case, what we're going to go and do is that, just try and get rid of some of these right here. Get rid of these cases because we're not worried about those, so we don't get confused. Now, as I go with this, that's my transversal line. These two happen to cut through it, okay? So that makes my transversal to go ahead and be letter R in this case, okay? So right here. So that's gonna be my transversal that connects them both. Now, next part, let's keep going down, is that we're gonna have to go ahead and use what we know about these angles and apply what angles they create. So I have angle 5 in relationship to angle 8. So angle 5 is right here, and angle 8 is right here, which means which type of angles are they considered? How would you classify them? They will be considered vertical angles, and for vertical angles, they are congruent. So that means that this would be 85. Okay, so if you forgot, this is my vertical angle right here. That's my vertical angle right there. So there you go. Okay. All right, so that's it for that case. So we're going to reset. So 3 and 6. I got 3. I got 6. They're considered alternate, and then they'll be considered interior. And for alternate interior, they are congruent. So this one will also be 76. Okay. So just be aware of when you have these situations go down, because you just need to focus on the angles that are there. All right, 1 and 7. So I got angle 1 and I got angle 7. Now here's the thing. So 1 and 7. Now they don't match anything that we have. They're both on the same side exterior angles. So like, but we don't have a definition. We don't have a definition that we were given that. So we have to realize that if this happens to be 142, I'm going to use a series, a couple of these classifications for them. So if I know this is 142, that means angle 5 also has to be 142. And then this angle and then angle 7 have to add up to 180. So that means that this part makes a linear pair. So that means it has to equal to 180. So I'm going to go ahead and take 180 minus 142, and you get 38. And this is 38 degrees. Okay? So all we did was take 180 minus 142, and then that gave you 38 degrees at the end of it. Okay? So so there you go. Okay, so we use a linear pair with that one, and we use corresponding with it. Now the next video, oh, not the next video, but the next problem, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the problem, and then we'll go from there. Now you have to walk the line. Now if you happen to forget how to walk the line, you have to go back and reference from the second video about how to properly read the angle. I don't have it here. Okay, so I guess I have to make it up and draw it. Okay, so looking from Jenny. So imagine we're going from a tightrope position to another point on it, and then another point on it. So a little tightrope, so make sure imagine you're walking this line, and then you get it from point to point to point. So if I make this up, X, A, B, you're going from point X to point A, so X, A, and then you go to point B, and that'll be your angle, the name of the angle. So imagine you're walking from here, let's see, imagine you're walking from here to this point, to that point. So you have X, A, and then B. So X, A, and then B. So just give me a heads up. All right, so on JGH, so we got J, G, and then H. So I'm gonna make my bridge. There it goes. That's my blue one. And then I have F, measurement of FDE. So I got F, D, E. Make the bridge. And there you go. So now you have two angles that you can go ahead and classify. Now, in these cases, that would be considered to go ahead and be alternate exterior. That means that they're going to be congruent. Now, it's asking you to find X, and then you have to go and plug it in to FDE later on. So we're going to go and set it up. So that'll be 4X is equal to 3X plus 20 minus 3X. 20 is equal to X. So there you go. So X equals 20. So we found that for number 31. Now this one right here happens to be FD. So that means you're going to take this 3X plus 20 and you're going to plug in what you know in there. So plug it in. Plug into, boom, that. Okay. So I'll let you go and figure that one out on your own. Okay. Now, as you're going through these, you're told here that these two lines C and D are parallel to each other at the right, and then you're asked to find each angle measure. So we're gonna do a few more. So I have angle 1, which is right here, and angle 7. Oh, look at that. So these are also considered alternate exterior, which means they're congruent. Now from here, I'm just gonna go and simply take angle 1 is equal to angle 7. So X plus 12 is equal to 11X minus 32. So add 32 on both sides. That goes away. 11X is equal to 44. And then you minus X on both sides. And then you get 44 is equal to 10X. Divide by 10. X is equal to 4.4. Okay. So there you go for that one. So X equals 4.4. So now in this one, it says find angle 1. So I'm going to take angle 1, which is X plus 12, and I'm just going to put my 4.4 in there, plus 12. So that'll be 16.4, which is equal to angle 1. Okay, so there you go. So plug into angle 1. Okay. So there you go. This gives you a heads up on how to go and solve some of these. Make sure you understand how to walk the line, because that's the biggest problem I've been seeing. Aside from that, then just study and then tune into the next video, guys. Okay.